College just got affordable. Up to 100% of enrollment fees can be reimbursed for first-time college students taking full-time classes. At Solano Community College, we are taking full advantage of this to further your future. With certificate and degree programs in industrial technology, aeronautics, biotechnology, and many others, Solano Community College is a staple for success. For more information, please contact the Financial Aid Office at 707-864-7000.
Hi, I'm Petero, and welcome to About Town, a program dedicated to young people here in our community and their contributions to our community. Joining me this afternoon are three young men in our early college high school program right here at Solano Community College. The program that partners Solano Community College with our local high school, Rodriguez High School, where students, upon graduation from high school, will also earn an associate's degree. This afternoon I have with me Jaira, Jacob, Sabio, Isaac Rodriguez, and Jamal Nassim. These are juniors in our early college program, and they're going to be telling us a little bit about their experience here at the early college high school. So let's start, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's start a little bit with your background. Jamal, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm the eldest child of four first-generation Afghan-American immigrants, and I've been an FSUSD student my whole life.
Nice. So you grew up at FSUSD. Where did you go to elementary school?
Elementary school, I actually went to two elementary schools. From kindergarten to second grade, I went to Cordelia, and then the remainder up to sixth grade was Nelda Mundy. Middle school was, of course, Green Valley Middle School, and here I am in early college now.
Excellent. Isaac, you are not from Northern California. Tell us a little bit about your background. You're a transplant from Southern California, I understand.
Yes, I am. I was born in LA, and I can't share the same experiences as Jamal. As I took all of my elementary and most middle school years from grades 1 through 7 in LA. However, for 8th grade, I went to the same middle school as Jamal in Green Valley Middle School.
Excellent. And then you wound up here as well.
Yes, I did.
Jaira, tell us a little about your background.
Well, I'm an only child to two Filipino parents.
Nice.
And similar to Jamal, I grew up in Fairfield. I was born and raised here, actually. So I'm a legacy student of Cordelia Hills, so that's kindergarten through 6th grade, which isn't a thing anymore. It's to 5th grade. And then I also went to school in Green Valley Middle School, and then I'm here now in early college.
So you all went to Green Valley, you were all in the same class. So a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about how you found out about early college. Let's start with you, Isaac. How did you find out about early college?
Well, the early college high school program was actually introduced to me by my math teacher at the time. She was closely affiliated with many math teachers at Rodriguez, so it was just simple communication on her end. And
she suggested that you apply?
Yes, she did. She suggested. She explained it very briefly to us as to how it would benefit us, and she recommended us very highly.
Nice. Jaira, how did you hear about the program?
For me, I found out through one of my childhood friends. He's only a year above me in terms of education, so he came here 1 year earlier, and it's because of him that I found out about the program initially.
Excellent.
So, and then afterwards, I found it through also my math teacher. She actually knows the math teacher here at early college also, and then through her, she introduced us to the program and told us how to apply and everything.
Excellent. So both of you were in the same math class. Your teacher told you about it, but you had already heard about it from your friend. All right, your math teacher, your friend. Jamal, how did you hear about early college?
Well, it wasn't exactly me who heard it. It was my dad who actually found out about it first through emails. Emails are important, and of course it gave us that information. So my dad, he wanted to find out more about it because college credits in high school, that's pretty good. So he went to one of the information nights actually, and he decided, wow, this could actually be something really good for Jamal. And so he told me about it, and I was kind of skeptical because it was something different.
Right.
So then I asked, okay, take me to one of these information nights, we'll see. And it turned out to really, it attracted me. So I was like, okay, let's go on with this.
So you got to make the decision.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? So the district keeps in contact with parents and lets them know what's going on within the district and what programs are available, and then that's how your dad found out about it and told you about it. And you all three, were you part of the decision-making process? Like, I want to do this, let's go for it. So now that you've decided, I'm going to do it, a little bit nervous. What's the process of going through getting into early college? Let me see. Let's start with you, Jaira. What's the process? What did you have to go through it? Tell us about I think there's a 3-part process. Is that right?
Yes, so for example, like the first part of the process is just getting letters of recommendation from 2 teachers, one from, I'm pretty sure it's math and English, and then one from another one in your middle school, and essentially just asked for letters of recommendation that essentially just like accommodate you and why they would think that you'd be good for the program.
So you would actually have to go and ask your teachers for a letter of recommendation. Yeah. That's pretty good. Was it pretty stressful? Did you have to think about what teachers have to, how well did I do in the class and all?
So like the teachers that actually like me, of course, I would choose them first.
Right, of course, right? And how well you did in the class. Excellent. And so is that the first part of the process? So getting the letters, asking your teachers for letters of recommendation. What's the second part of the process?
Well, at the time that we applied for the program, we actually had an interview for all of us. It was held at our home middle school, and each one of us would be asked a series of questions depending on our personality, on how hard we were willing to work. A basic evaluation, really, of if we were the right fit for this program.
Right, exactly. Do you remember any questions, or maybe a question or two that you were probably asked?
I'm sorry to say that my memory does not serve me that well.
Yeah, I don't remember any.
You don't remember either? It's stressful when you're there and you're on the spot and you have to answer those questions. You know, you remember those questions and then you just move on. It is hard to go back and recollect what you actually said, right?
I guess you can think of it as, a job application, really. They're the same type of questions, really.
Yes. So apply, ask for letters of recommendation, go through the interview process, and then what's the third part of it all?
Okay, so the final part was probably what I felt was the most important part, and that was a essay of intent. Why did we want to go to early college? What could we contribute to early college, and what would we expect contributed back to us? So it was really how we'd fit into the program. And yeah, that was the third part of the application.
Oh my gosh. So how was it when going through the whole process of the interview? Did you practice for an interview? Did you go over what are some questions they might ask you? Did they give you questions ahead of time? This is what to expect and to prepare your answers? When they actually asked you when you did the interviews?
Well, yeah, that was kind of a stressful part just for us to be the reason why it's so hard to remember, just because it was like an in and out process. But in terms of just the application in general, like something that benefited me a lot was just getting help from multiple people, not only from teachers, but also from my parents, just to make sure that I looked the best that I could possibly be.
Yeah, excellent. So gone through the process, you're here at early college. Tell me a little bit about your experience here at early college. Here, as a teacher here at early college, I keep thinking, as teenagers, because I'm a grandmother, I have grandchildren who are teenagers as well, and I keep thinking, oh my goodness, you might miss out on your teenage years. But you're all here, and I'd like to hear from you what you think about early college, and tell me a little about your experience. Can we start with you, Jamal? And then each of you can tell us about your experience here at
So my experience here, firstly, I suppose we'll start with the classes, right? The high school classes, I feel they're pretty similar to what the normal high school classes are offered at Rodriguez, right? High school students, the same atmosphere. The only real difference is that we are with the same students year after year. So I've known these two very well for the last 2 years.
You'll be lifelong friends.
Hopefully. So high school classes, they're similar. College classes are where the real difference is, and that's because we get to talk and communicate with people much older than us. And for classes that are just primarily lecture, that really doesn't change much. However, classes where we can actually discuss our experiences, like the communications class I'm taking right now, right? Those classes, we can discuss them, we can understand the different ways people of different generations think. And so the information they give is really valuable and helps. It's good to absorb that, and that's a big change between the two.
Isaac, what about your experience? Tell us a little about your experience in early college.
I would agree very heavily with Jamal on the opportunities that we get talking to people who are a lot more experienced than us.
Yes.
Because, of course, there's really no way for us to understand what's waiting for us outside those doors of graduation.
Absolutely.
Right? And so as we talk to these people that are a lot older than us, who have jobs, who have kids, who have a set life, a stable life, really, they give us insight.
They have to pay bills and pay the rent.
Yes. They give us a lot of valuable insight, really, as to what we have to expect for life.
Absolutely. What about you, Jared? What's your experience like?
Well, actually, it's been really well, because when this whole program was first implemented, I know for a fact that some of the college students here that I take classes with, they were basically taking classes through the transition. And something that like I really appreciate about that is how even though we're high school students, we're basically treated the same way as regular college
That's
students.
important, absolutely.
So like right when we take the classes, we all fit in, and then it's just a community that we have here.
Yes. And do you feel like at all that you're missing out on your teenage years? Because I know that you're in classes with students your age, that you all are in the same classes throughout the high school process, but in classes with college, you feel like, oh my gosh, I could be doing more things outside, like going to football games. I guess you could still go to football games. But do you feel like you're missing out at all on being a teenager?
Well, I mean, I suppose there is a bit of, oh, I want this experience here offered at Rodriguez High School and
Right.
not this smaller early college, right? But I feel like overall we get most of the high school experience here. We still have the same students, high school students. We interact with them a lot. We
Right.
have a community here similar to the community at Rod. And I feel like most of the high school experience there is transferred over here. Of course, there are some differences, like we don't get as big of a say, or we can't as easily access the football games,
I see.
right? And a lot of the events are harder to go to. But other than that, I feel like, there isn't really that big of a loss.
Well, you have a debate team here. You,
Yeah.
you still compete in high school and high school level, right? Debate team. What else do we have that you're all involved in?
We are involved. I'm involved in Academica along with Jaira, and
also leadership.
all three of us are also involved in leadership.
That's excellent. So you still have all of those programs that you can still contribute to in your high school activities that you do. We also have a drama club, I understand, here, the
Yes.
early college program. So you're still doing lots of activities you would do at the high school. You're just doing it here among college students. Another thing, balancing your time. And then the subject matter, because you're taking college classes and high school classes. So I would imagine the environment is a little bit different. Explain that and what that is like, and also having to manage your time and balance your time between your high school courses, and your college courses, or what that experience is like.
Oh dear. Well, when it comes to time management, like when I first started off going to early college, it's really not something you should ask me about, just because it was really terrible coming out of middle school. But over time,
Yes.
through freshman, through sophomore, and then now junior year, that's a skill that you really have to develop, because something that I noticed is essentially because of the fact that even though technically you are taking less high school classes, the college classes that you're taking go throughout your entire day, and they're hours at a time certain days.
Right.
So by being able to manage your time and be able to get all your assignments done so that you could basically get good grades in all those classes is really important, and something that I had to learn over time.
Yes. Hopefully it took you like not past your high school, your ninth grade
Oh,
year
dear.
to learn it. With your juniors right now, right? You'll pick it up really, really quickly. What about you? How do you manage
Well,
balance?
Well, at first they give us a set high school class
I
schedule.
see.
With that schedule, you cannot change it at all
Okay,
unless
so
you
each year you get a set of
Yes.
classes. I have to take these classes. Okay.
You cannot change it at all unless you have a college class that you really need to take. And of course, if you have that situation, you talk to your counselor in private. However, once you do get that set high school schedule, you then pick college classes that you have to take around that schedule.
I see.
Right. That way, your schedule is nice, neat, and it ends up with time frames that you
Right.
can work with.
Toward a major, and you get to pick a major, or some of you can do just general ed. So you pick your classes based on that.
What we do, I mean, some people, of course, can pick a major out already. However, for most of us, we're not sure what we want to be.
Right.
We're still exploring.
Right.
So we focus on mainly general ed. Our counselor, she tells us to focus on ECHS, which are
Right.
the basic general classes that we can transfer over to a four-year
Yes.
university. So then we focus on those classes. We need to fill those out. And I know that I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, but I know I want it to be something that involves math or science.
Right.
So then I can take those higher level courses without having to delve too deeply into a specific major.
Oh, excellent. So your experiences, you've got through the process here at early college, going through the experience as seasoned early college students, juniors getting ready to graduate. What advice would you give to students? Because like you said, I'm not the best person to ask about time management. Since your experience, you can impart some wisdom on young people, 8th graders, I believe that would be, right? Preparing to come to the early college program. What would your advice be for them? Let's start here with Jamal and we go through Jaira.
Okay, well, this is a tough decision because there are many things you have to factor. I believe that the most important part is that being here, I'm able to take college classes. So that outweighs any negatives. However, it is important to know that many of your friends won't be joining you. I was fortunate and had a lot of friends come here. However, like my two main friends, they stayed over there. And while I have built new relationships here that help me, I can't help but feeling nostalgic, I guess, when I like scroll through Instagram and I see them having fun. Yeah. So it's a tough decision.
Yes, absolutely. You had to be committed to it because it is 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Isaac, what advice would you give?
Well, I guess the singular piece of advice that I can give, which I guess does expect too much of people, but it's to make sure that you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Because if you don't know what you're doing and why you're doing it, then you can get very easily lost.
Absolutely. Oh, it's excellent advice. And Jara?
Yeah, I mean, like, just to go off of Isaac, one really big factor when it comes to succeeding well in this program is essentially just using your resources the way you can. So, like, we have a bunch of tutoring that you have here, especially like for math and for other subjects also. And then also, like, getting to know each other and, like, getting to have new friends in order to collaborate with. As long as you know as long as you know people that could help you, you could like basically ensure your success in the program.
You bring up a really good point, and I think that's so important for all students, not only if you're K through 12 or college, is to take the initiative. There are resources out there, you just have to go find them, right? And you have technology right at your fingertips. You just scroll through anything and find any information that you need pertaining to high school, pertaining to college, and also you have the resources of your classmates as well. Networking is so important. Now you have students who are in their 20s, you're going to school with, students who are in their 13, early teens, who you're in classes with, and I think it's a great resource to have, plus, like I said, all the technology. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us, telling us a little bit about your background, how you heard about the program, the process that you went through, your experience, and also imparting some wonderful wisdom on young people, 8th graders who are planning to come to the early college program. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Anna Petero, and this is another episode of About Town. I'd like to thank Jaira, Isaac, and Jamal for joining us. These young men are going places, and I'd like to thank them for joining us on contributing back to their our economy and our community.
If you have an interest in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether it's behind the scenes or on camera,
then this is the class for you.
Class is held every Wednesday from 1:30 to 4:30 in room 121 alongside the library building.
For more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
We hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
it's more than just sports. It's an education.